Are you serious, Governor Jerry Brown? Are you serious? What? California Governor Jerry Brown signs a transgender student bill. Yesterday, August the 12th, 2013. California Governor Jerry Brown signed a controversial bill into law yesterday, allowing the state's transgender public school students to choose which bathrooms they use and whether they participate in boy or girl sports. The law would cover the state's 6.2 million elementary and high school kids in the public schools. Can I have a cup of coffee? Can I have a can I have a strong cup of coffee? Whew. Okay. Students say the law would help cut down on bullying against transgender students. The families of transgender students have been waging local battles with school districts. Man, that is strong coffee. What happened was when I saw this article, I just thought I'd go ahead and make a pot of coffee, but I just, instead of putting 1 scoop, I put 3 because I thought 3 scoops of coffee. Man, that's like dark mud almost. Woo! Anyway, I don't know what to do with this. First of all, I get emails all the time. Paul, what's a transgender? All right, so I went to the dictionary and pulled this up. Now every transgender student in California will be able to get up in the morning knowing that when they go to school as their authentic self, and they will have the same fair chances at success now as their classmates. You mean they didn't have a fair chance? What do you mean fair chance? Picking which bathroom you're going to use? So the boys can use the girls' bathroom and say they're feeling like a girl today? Or a boy can play on the girls' softball team and take showers after the game with the other girl teammates? And that's because they can claim transgender? And they're going to not be... And this is going to cut down bullying. It says here, wait a minute. This is going to cut down bullying. What? Yes, that's what it says. Opponents of the bill. Okay. The radical bill warps the gender expectation of children by forcing all California public schools to permit biological boys in their girls' restrooms and showers, clubs and on girl sports teams, and biological girls in the boys' restrooms and showers and clubs and sports teams. This is insanity. That's the words being spoken by Randy Thomason, a very concerned parent. He also has an organization called SaveCalifornia.com. Yes, save us all, Lord Jesus. Save us all. What is going on in this nation? Okay, here. I'm gonna let this person here explain it. The director of public schools. This woman that I guess she's a woman. She's dressed like a woman, but her voice sounds.
It just became a law.
For the first time in California history, transgender students will have the same opportunities as their fellow classmates.
Now that's a guy.
They will be able to participate in activities consistent with their gender identity.
Today, Governor Jerry Brown signed into law the School Success and Opportunity Act. The first of its kind law will require all schools in the state to respect the students' gender identity, allowing them to take part in all sports and have access to all facilities that match their gender identity.
I didn't think it'd ever get past the legislature.
Teresa Sparks knows firsthand the problems facing people who are transgender.
But there's always a fear that somebody's going to call me out in some restaurant or in some restroom.
Sparks, the executive director of San Francisco Human Rights Commission, is transgender, something she's known her entire life. She says the law is a great thing for the youth who can be themselves without fear.
It acknowledges that it isn't as clear-cut as all people are male, all people are female.
Rather than singling out kids specifically who are transgender identified, this is a way for them to feel like they're just like their peers. They're treated exactly the same way.
Okay, now time out. Here's what I did. And look, No confusion here. I mean, in other words, I'm not trying to create confusion. I'm trying to decipher the confusion. And I'm not being at all disrespectful. But that person talking was a woman, or at least she looked like a woman, kind of, but her voice was definitely sounding like a man. But I think that's a man who's saying that she's a woman or a transgender, and she's in charge of the public schools. Okay? Now, here's what the word for those of you who don't know what a transgender is, if you're from a different generation, transgender is, at its most basic level, is a word that applies to someone who doesn't fit within society's standards of how a woman or a man is supposed to look or act. Okay? Now, for example, transgender may be used to describe someone who is assigned female at birth, but later realizes that label doesn't accurately reflect who they really feel they are inside. So this person may now live life as a man, or may feel that their gender identity can't be truly summed up by either of the two options. So we're usually given male or female. So they might feel that they're somewhere in between, and both male and female somehow outside the two-gender system. All right, here's a better explanation. Transgender can also be used as an umbrella term, meaning it groups together a variety of people with different identities. The common link is that people under the transgender umbrella don't really fit within their society's standards of how women and men are supposed to look and act. So, in other words, they're gender non-conforming. Here's another way to look at it. It says here, and this is the dictionary's, transgender is relatively a new word. It's only been around for a few decades, but it's not a new concept. Gender non-conforming people have existed in many time periods and cultures. Transgender identity is not dependent upon medical procedures. In other words, some transgender people have surgeries or take hormones to bring their bodies into alignment with their gender identity, but many do not medically alter their bodies, and that doesn't mean that they're not transgender. So you might think someone's a transgender, but this is a person identity that some people claim and others do not. So you should wait and see how someone self-identifies themselves, or ask them respectfully before you assume. I'm not going to walk up to somebody and say, "Are you, hi, I don't want to get this wrong, but are you a woman or a man?" I'm not going to do that, guys. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not going to do that. I mean, can you imagine? Are you serious? Are you serious that we're supposed to do that? Really? Somebody help me out below, because I don't even know how to address this. Here's what I want to say. All I can tell you is this. This year at school, California public school, the girls are maybe in the boys' restroom. Don't get upset. And some boys may be in the girls' restroom. Don't get upset. Depends how they feel that day. Okay? That's the way it's going to play out in the confused state of California. And America, for that matter.